So today we're going to be talking about the story of Snow White. Is Disney's first animated film from 1937, and it was definitely ahead of its time. It broke barriers, really, of what could be done in the film industry, and many of the films that we have today, including from other companies that would be considered rivals of Disney, they may not have ever happened if something like Snow White didn't exist. But anyway, so in the movie Snow White, if you haven't watched it by now, from 1937, it's about a very young princess. She's actually the youngest Disney princess at 14 years old, who dreams of falling in love, and she's the princess of supposed to be this kind king. They never really say what happens to the king in the movie. I guess we just all assume that he's dead. But the king marries, Snow White loses her mother at birth, and the king marries her stepmom, the evil queen, who is infatuated with her own appearance, asking her mirror on a daily basis who is the fairest in the land. And of course the mirror always replies that she is, until one day when Snow White becomes older and is more beautiful, the mirror says it's now Snow White, and the queen takes it as an offense towards her and tries multiple attempts to kill Snow White. In the film, 2 attempts with the huntsman, and then again by her own hand with the poison apple. And then of course Snow White goes into a deep slumber, is woken by true love's first kiss, and off she rides with her prince to get married at the tender age of 14. So we're going to go into what inspired this version of the story. Like a lot of stories from the past, the brothers Grimm were very talented, very well known, very famous authors, and Snow White was one of. The brothers Grimm had their own version of Snow White. The original version is German, and definitely a tad bit more darker than what the movie was. For example, instead of just 2 times of wanting to try to kill Snow White, the queen actually tries 4 times. First is with a huntsman, and she tells the huntsman to bring back Snow White's heart and liver as proof that she is dead. And all this happens in the story when Snow White is no more than 7 years old, which I thought was kind of interesting because she's 7, you have to go over the 7 hills to meet the 7 dwarves. Like I said, the queen tries 4 times to kill Snow White, once with a huntsman. Of course, the huntsman takes pity on this little girl who is very beautiful, with her very snow white skin, very black ebony hair, and very blood red lips. So he takes pity on her, lets her go, and she wanders around the forest terrified until she's accepted in to this cabin of 7 dwarves. And they give her shelter, food. All they ask in exchange is that she does chores around the house. And they tell her before they go off to work every day to basically what you would tell any 7-year-old: don't talk to strangers, don't let strangers in the house. And as a 7-year-old girl, she doesn't quite listen. So the first time the queen finds out that Snow White is still alive, she asks her mirror, who is the fairest in the land, the mirror responds that it is still Snow White, and tells the queen where to find her. And the queen goes, she disguises herself as an old peddler woman and tries to sell Snow White a string of lace that she can wear around her neck. And Snow White first says, oh, I can't let anyone in. I can't let strangers in. But the queen's like, well, I just have this here. You know, I'm just a innocent old lady. And Snow White's like, yeah, I guess you are. So I'll let you in. So the queen's like, here, I'll let you try this on. So the queen puts the lace around Snow White's neck, tightens it too tightly to where Snow White suffocates, and Snow White falls to the ground, appearing lifeless, and the queen leaves back to her castle. And even in the original story, it doesn't say what happened to the king. The way I had read it, I'm assuming he's actually still alive during this, so I don't know what he's doing. But anyway, so the dwarves come back, see that Snow White is lifeless, but sees that she has this new frill of lace around her neck, so they loosened it, and she breathes and she's fine, until the next time that the queen asks the mirror who's the fairest, and the mirror once again replies that it's still Snow White, and the queen's getting kind of irritated because she's about to attempt the third murder on this 7-year-old girl. And this time, after she disguises herself, she brings with her a poisoned comb. And once again, Snow White says, oh, I cannot let any strangers in. But she's pretty easily influenced. And so, once again, the evil queen is able to get her to come out, and she says, here, I'll comb your hair for you. And back then, when they say comb, a lot of times they had combs that were like hair pieces, almost like barrettes. So that is what I'm assuming is what it was in the story, for a comb. And so the poison seeped into her hair. She fell lifeless to the ground. The queen leaves again, assuming that Snow White is dead for good. Dwarves come back, see her lifeless, start freaking out, find the comb, take the comb off of her. She recovers. She's fine. So so the evil queen goes back to her mirror again and sees that Snow White is still alive. So she's about to go crazy, and she pretty much says that she's going to kill Snow White even if it kills her in the process. So the queen is getting very desperate over trying to prove that she's the fairest in the land. So she poisons an apple, but the apple has two sides. One side is white and the other side is red. The red side is poison, the white side is not. So she disguises herself as a different peddler woman and goes again. Once again, Snow White is taken with her and accepts her in, even though she is skeptical. But then the evil queen's like, look, here, I'll cut this apple in half. I'll eat the white part, you can have the red part. And the queen takes a bite off the white part. She's fine. Obviously, that part's not poisoned. So Snow White sees that. She's like, okay, I'll take the red part. And a piece of apple is lodged in her throat, and she falls to the ground lifeless again. The queen leaves once again, and for a very long time she's happy because when the dwarves get back, they can't figure out what to do with Snow White, and they assume that she really is dead this time. They didn't have it in their hearts to bury her. They thought that she was too beautiful to bury. So they put her in a glass coffin and put her up on a mountain. And one dwarf would stand guard with her at a time at all times. Until one day a prince came by, just wandering around, saw her, even though she's 7, and decides that she is very beautiful and that he wants to take her coffin back with him to his kingdom, even though he does, I'm assuming, understanding that she is dead. So he pleads and begs with the dwarves to let him have her, and the dwarves are very resistant because they didn't want to give her up. But the prince begs, practically cries, tells them that he will take care of her dead body and preserve her. So the dwarves let him have his way. And so when he starts making off with a coffin, I'm assuming in a carriage, it goes over a bump, according to the story, and I'll link the story down below where I read this. They hit a bump, she coughs out the piece of poison apple, wakes up, says, "Hey, what am I doing here?" And the prince is like, "You're gonna be my wife." And she just accepts it, I guess, 7 years old, and she accepts it. So anyways, so the prince marries her, and they become king and queen of this other land. And when the evil queen, goes up to her mirror to ask, am I still the fairest? The mirror says that there is a new queen who is fairer than her. It doesn't say that it's Snow White, he just says that there is a new queen who's fairer than her. So she goes to meet this new queen, and she is very shocked and surprised to see that it is Snow White, and she is immediately caught, put into iron shoes, hot iron shoes, and she needs to dance over coals until she dies. Unlike in the movie where a boulder just crushes her and she just dies. But where she tried to kill Snow White 4 times, I guess I don't blame them for the torture before death. But yeah, so let me know what you think of the differences between the two. So yeah, like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends. Bye.